Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Now, since my Sally the Ragdoll video was so well received, this year for Halloween I decided to make another custom doll for you. This time I'm going to be taking this Kitty Cheshire doll and turning her into Circus Baby from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. If you'd like to see last year's custom Sally the Ragdoll video, I'll go ahead and leave a link to that down below in the description. But for now, let's go ahead and get started on Kitty's transformation into Circus Baby. First, I'm going to be using pure acetone to remove the factory paint, and then I'm going to remove the doll's hair so that way I have a blank canvas to start off with. Since Circus Baby's hair is orange, I have to cut off all of the doll's original hair, which is, to be honest, my least favorite part of doll customization. Please remember to always have an adult's permission before customizing your dolls. Baby's skin is kind of like this glossy white color, so in order to kind of achieve that look, I'm going to take the metallic acrylic paint in the color White Pearl. I'm just going to go over the entire body and head with this color to try and give her the same skin tone that the baby animatronic in the sister location game has. So I'm going to try something else. I'm actually going to use a makeup sponge, and I'm going to try and sponge it on because I want to try and put it on her face so that way there's no paintbrush strokes on there. Alright, so that is definitely giving it a more even coverage, so I definitely like this. I'm going to go ahead and continue using this sponge method to paint the rest of the body, and then I'll come back after it's dry and do a second coat. For Baby's clothes, I got this top and skirt from a Bratz fashion pack, and I'm painting it red to match Baby's outfit. I'm using this old Ever After High body that I used kind of as a fashion mannequin, so that way I don't get any paint on the actual doll. Now that I've got the base coat down and the paint has dried, I'm going to go ahead and paint on a second coat, and hopefully it'll cover up all of these little hearts and stars and markings on the fabric. So the red was not covering up the little symbols, so I just took some white and then painted over the red, and now I'm going back over it again with the red, and it's actually coming out much brighter, which I do like. So I'm going to go ahead and completely cover this with red, and then I'll cover it with the gloss, and we should be good with the dress. Alright, so I have let the red paint dry overnight. Right now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put some gloss over it to give it that glossy look that Baby's dress has. This is the Triple Thick Brilliant Brush On Gloss Glaze, and essentially it's just like acrylic paint, but there's no pigment to it. It's just purely glossy. I use it to seal a lot of things that I do with acrylic paint. So I'm going to go ahead and put one coat of this on and be right back. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside and give it some time to dry so that way it dries completely before I move it or try and take it off of the mannequin. Here is the body and the head after I've given her a few coats of the white paint. I did end up mixing some of just like the regular glossy white with the pearl metallic gloss because she wasn't turning white enough. I really wanted her skin to be like that actual white color. I didn't really want as much of the purple showing through, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this really small detail brush, and I'm going to map out all of the lines where all of the splits in Baby's face are, so to kind of recreate that look of her face being able to open up. Here we go. I've got all of the details painted on the body and on the head. So now I'm just going to take the triple thick gloss and cover the entire body and head so that way she has that glossy look that Baby has in the game. So for her pigtails and for her hair, I'm going to use an air dry clay, and this is the one that I'm using. It's like by Crayola. It's like a little kid's one, but you can mold it and let it dry out. So I'm going to try this and see if it works to make her hair. I've never used it before, but this is just what I happen to have on hand. So I'm also, in order to help support her pigtails, I'm going to use this wire. I don't know like the size of the wire or anything. It's kind of soft, so it's like really easy to bend. It's not a really sturdy wire necessarily, but I think that it'll hold the pigtails on a little bit better with the clay. So what I'm going to do in order to put the wire in is I'm going to take my re-hairing tool or my re-rooting tool, since it is pretty sharp, and I'm just going to go in and find the spot where I want to put the pigtails, and I'm going to make a hole through the paint and try and make it a little bit bigger of a hole so that way I can put the wire through. That was incredibly not easy. Anyway, so there's the one wire. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one off camera. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue, and I'm just going to put just a little bit around the base of the wires to try and help hold them in a little bit sturdier. Okay, so I'm just going to break off a piece of this. There we go. So there is Baby's pigtails. I'm gonna let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow, once it's completely dry, I'm going to paint it to the orange color that I want it to be, because Baby's hair is like this kind of dark orange color. Alright, so here's Baby's head with the hair on. This kind of clay turns kind of spongy or like kind of like a foam material when it's dry. So it's probably not the best. I wouldn't necessarily suggest it for something like with pigtails, but she's just going to be for display. She's not going to be for playing with, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and pop the head back on the body, and then I'm going to paint the hair to the orange color that I want it to be. So one of the dangers of completely painting the face of a doll like this is this right here. You can start to get some cracking and flaking of the paint if there's too many layers of paint over it. That's why I tried to make it as thin as I can, but that's okay. I'm probably just gonna go over this with some more of the clear gloss varnish to try and just seal that so that it doesn't crack anymore or flake away. Okay, and now I'm going to take some black paint, and I'm just going to paint down the crease here between her part in her hair, and I'm also going to create those little lines here because in the game, Baby's hair is in like 3 different sections, so I'm going to paint the little lines there to make it look like it's sectioned off. Circus Baby actually has some like shoulder pad type things sticking out off of her top. So what I did is I just cut these little shapes out of some red ribbon that I had, and I'm just going to use some Mod Podge to just kind of like decoupage them like right here on top of her little shirt. So I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble getting this to stay on here. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of plastic that I cut off of a bag. So what I did is I covered her arm with a little bit of plastic that I cut off of a little bag, and I'm just going to use that to kind of like prop up the shoulder pad and kind of hold it in place so that way it doesn't actually get glued to her shoulder. I'm just going to take a little bit more glue and then just dab it like right here on top, just so that way it kind of creates a little bit of a seal. So I'm gonna let that sit so that way it will completely dry, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side as well.
I don't recognize you. You are new. I remember this scenario, however. It's a strange thing to want to do, to come here. I'm curious what events would lead a person to want to spend their nights in a place like this. Willingly. Maybe curiosity, maybe ignorance. Did you know that I was on stage once? It wasn't for very long, only one day. What a wonderful day, though. I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. No one sat at the tables, though. But children would run in and out. Some were afraid of me, others enjoyed my songs. Shh, be still and quiet. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you. I am only going to keep you for a little while.
Hi everybody, thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time that I upload. If you have any specific character suggestions you'd like to see me make a custom for, make sure you leave those in a comment down below and I'll do my best to make it happen. That's all I have for you for right now, so here's some pictures of the finished product and I will see you in the next video. Bye everybody!